Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always I'm joined by
Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
And in today's episode we're going to be having a review of the Dalton Smith Jose Zepeda fight last weekend, looking at some audio clips from the world of boxing, talking about the Matchroom versus Queensberry 5v5 announced cards, and then next weekend's fights being previewed as well. Last weekend's fights, they seem like a while ago now because obviously we're recording on the Wednesday. Let's jump straight into it with the James Flint Campbell Hatton card. Obviously Flint got the unanimous decision win.
What a fight.
What do we make of the fight? What do we make of Flint's performance and maybe what we expected from Hatton that we didn't get as well?
I think we got... I expected Campbell Hatton not to shy away, always come forward, because he's got the fighter in him. And yeah, he shouldn't be... He's obviously going to be down about losing that fight, and I think potentially that Saturday night's proven now that maybe Campbell Hatton isn't going to get to the levels his father got to, and maybe he's only a top British fighter and maybe can't do it on the world stage. But yeah, listen, James Flint, what a fight, and he had all the pressure on him as well, you know. But yeah, I think Campbell Hatton should be quite pleased about his performance, and he can come back as well. He didn't get knocked out, he didn't get stopped. He lost by unanimous decision, and yeah, I would love to see the rematch if obviously James Flint keeps that Central Area title.
Yeah, it's not as if he got battered in the fight, is it? And it's a difficult one for him because he's always going to be compared to his old man, and it makes it hard for him. Like, people have that instant expectation of they've seen his father do it and expect him to be the same. But I think he gave a decent enough showing of himself, but has probably found his level. But I think afterwards he was saying he thought he might have nicked it, but I had Flint winning like 7-3. I think
7-3. I had Flint winning by 2, so I agree with one of the scorecards of 97-95, and you're
so you had him winning by
98.
One round.
Yeah,
realistically, yeah, fair. I mean,
it was a close fight. I think
close enough.
Close,
fight.
but
it's all according how you score the fight, though. He just kept on coming forward, Campbell.
But all the important shots and big shots, Flint landed them.
Yeah, I think I put it in the chat as well when after the fight they cut to Ricky and he literally, you could read his mouth saying "fuck me, he's lost that." Like, they knew. Obviously as a fighter it's different, it's hard to see it from the inside. But yeah, it's a disappointing one. But I think we'll see plenty more of Campbell Hatton. I'm not worried about that. It is...
How many times have we seen a young fighter lose and then just come back and just be a completely
it could be the making
person.
of him, couldn't it?
Sometimes you need to lose.
He's got, like, it might be helpful, he's got that loss on the record now, so the pressure of losing a fight is off. He can just go in there now, be himself.
People might stop comparing him now to his father.
Not
and
have the pressure of the name behind him or such.
Yeah, I think it was one of the commentators said that maybe it might be a good idea for him to drop down into some smaller hall shows, away from the video cameras, away from the TV cameras, and just, work on his craft. A lot of people are still working on their craft at that point in their career, and he's done a lot of it, while on view. So yeah, he's certainly one to look out for. And then Ishmael Davis, Troy Williamson. Ishmael Davis once again won a points decision. That was the only prediction I got right on the night, was that one. Was getting that Davis would win, I think.
That might be... No, I didn't get that one right as well. No.
But
another brilliant fight.
It was another really good fight.
That Ishmael Davis, I'd never heard of him before this fight night, and what a fighter he is, honestly. Wow.
Yeah, he's put himself right in the mix now, and in terms of Troy Williamson, it was a disappointing not just night for him, but I think the lead up to it with obviously the
fight was off, wasn't it?
And yeah, they didn't even know until I think the day before whether the fight was on. But I think he's discussed about going up a weight class now, so I think it's just a fresh start for him, obviously. But Ishmael Davis is one to watch at that weight class. Yeah,
he looked good, 13-0 now as well. So he's getting to that point where you're going to start talking about belts and stuff, and to start talking about him, building himself up into a really big name. Which I don't, there's levels, and I don't necessarily know. I'm not saying he's the next world champion or anything, but he certainly looks like a good fighter.
You can get there if you say he's dedicated and all that. But as Ben was saying about the weight, I think they probably managed it well as well, because apparently they put him to one side and said, listen, the fight is off at the moment, but don't worry about it, go back, rehydrate. And then they came back, and Troy Williamson, I think, at the overnight fighters can put on weight and all that and come in as heavy as possible. I think Troy Williamson had to weigh in again in the morning on a new agreed weight, and then the fight was back on. And if the fight didn't happen, I think would the card miss it? No, because all the other fights on the card were really good, and 50-50 fights come Finn, at the moment. But yeah, as Ben said, he's one to watch out for the future. And
it would have been a shame for Davis only if he had not got that win on his record. Like, because it's a good win for him now to go. I think it's 13-0, and he'll build him towards the next. It'd be interesting to see where they put him next. Like,
is he British level already? Maybe.
So I'd put him in with, like, we've seen Sam Eggington a few weeks ago. Obviously, he's coming off the back of the loss.
That would be.
Yeah, it would be a good
two
fight.
fighters.
That's 4th and 5th in the UK.
Plus, obviously, Eggington had that British title fight last time out, so it is kind of a test. Is he at that level? And if he wins against Sam Eggington, then you could argue he should be the next British title defence.
That's a good step down fight from Eggington, because I think he was European. He had last time against Abbas Baru.
Yeah.
So yeah. Promoter Ben working his magic again there.
World title and eliminator, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Browse.
Yeah.
World title, no.
Yeah, for sure. So
I like that fight. Well done, Ben.
And I suppose we should say this now because I'm going to say it so you don't get to. We've done the boxing news predictions on the Predictor app. That's how we're doing our predictions now.
Who won it?
I don't know actually. I think it's close.
Your ego is too big as it is, Ben. So shush.
Yeah, no. Ben wiped the floor with us, I think, a little bit.
Listen,
got them all right.
Oh, Sam, we go for more. He went for a draw. He's going for him. We go for more exciting predictions that can get people.
I'm sure
talking.
if you run it back, you were very confident in your predictions.
Yeah, especially
Listen,
now.
I've still got 2 predictions that you were very confident about as well. So just
true.
It's only 1-0.
We're never going to get at the end of that Katie Taylor fight.
No, absolutely not.
It was in the Katie Taylor fight as well. It was.
No idea.
Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker.
Course, yeah.
You were like, oh no, Wilder's going to knock him out. And I said, no, Parker's going to win on points.
Well done.
Fair point. And then another fight that ended, Sandy Ryan, Terry Harper for the WBO World Welter title. Sandy Ryan won that fight. Harper was retired after the 4th round. It was a bit of a beating, to be honest, I think.
Very one-sided from the first bell. And what a statement, I think, from Sandy Ryan, because, Jessica McCaskill and Lauren Price are fighting May 11th. The winner of that fight needs to fight, and what a domestic fight that would be for British boxing.
Yeah, if you
Lauren
can get...
Price, because Lauren Price, she's going to easily beat McCaskill, in my opinion.
That's the Cardiff City scrap, I think.
Oh, yeah, in the Cardiff City Stadium, Sandy Ryan versus... Lauren Price.
Sandy Ryan from Derby.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Derby.
So you can let me off on this one. I backed Terry Harper.
Cardiff and Derby have had a bit of...
She's from up my way, so...
So you did back some... Yeah, but that's fine. When you do predictions like that, that's fine.
Back
but when you just predict like Ben...
Don't start making excuses now, because...
Listen, we got this weekend.
How many points did we get?
2.
Maybe that's why Ben's better, is because we always back our own local fighters, and if anyone's from Merthyr, Ben
it's just
going to
get boring though.
And there's a lot of boxers from Merthyr, so that's why you're going to...
knows his boxing.
Yeah.
Would you agree with Eddie Hearn's comments after the fight that Sandy Ryan's the best welterweight in the world?
No.
No?
No, I don't...
She's got to get him with...
The winner of May 11th.
I think
put her in with that.
She's certainly in the conversation, but I think it would be unfair to suggest...
Saturday night look easy.
Terry Harper.
Against Terry Harper was a very good fighter.
Yeah, I just think it would be unfair to suggest that she's, unequivocally the best in the world. I think that she's beaten Terry Harper. Yes, she's got a belt, but so does Jessica McCaskill. So possibly will Lauren Price. So I think it's unfair to suggest that yet. But she's certainly up there. Top 2 or 3, without a doubt.
I think top 2.
Probably top 2 guaranteed, yeah. Realistically.
And what a fight that would be. Lauren Price, Sandy Ryan, as Ben said, Cardiff City Stadium. Wow.
Yeah. We can't look past McCaskill for Price, though, because that could be a difficult fight. It could be. She's got a world title fight for a reason.
She has to get the win, but I think, if I'm making an early prediction, I think Lauren Price just goes straight through her.
Yeah, but I mean, you say you're making an early prediction. None of us are going to go against her when we do the prediction on the night, are we? Realistically.
Yeah, but it's better to be confident,
True.
Let's be honest.
And then Dalton Smith, Jose Zepeda, one that... I think this was one of the ones that let us down, Harry. We went for Zepeda.
No, I got the...
Oh, did you? Is this the only one you got right?
Yeah.
Ben got it. I mean, what a knockout it was.
I must have got more than 2 points, because I got Sandy Ryan winning. For some reason, I went Ishmael Davis, Troy Williamson, draw.
So we must have gone...
Because I just saw there's more points if you get a draw.
True. We must have...
You 2 went for Terry Harper.
We got 4 each, I think.
No, I went Sandy Ryan.
Oh, 2.
Yeah. I got the notes if you don't believe me.
So... Dalton Smith, Jose Zepeda. Dalton Smith got the finish in the 5th round body shot. Just a horrible, horrible body shot to take that one.
Stinger.
Yeah.
He was, at the time of the stoppage, I think he was 2 apiece, wasn't he? Zepeda came out strong, and I think after the fight, Dalton Smith was talking to the interviewer guy, I don't know his name, and he was saying, "No, I was absolutely crapping it coming out, but until Arctic Monkeys song came on, boom, I was ready to go." And yeah, what a statement and what a finish!
Yeah, really good.
A body shot is the best way to finish a fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a weird one though, because he was quite a bit out of range from Zepeda and I think that's why it hurt him so bad. I think they call it a gazelle punch when you sort of jump into range with your hook to the body, and then obviously Zepeda wasn't ready for that shot. He wasn't the core wasn't tensed, and at that point it's over. If they hit you with a good shot and you're not ready for it, yeah, it's over.
And just remember, everyone over in the States and around outside of the UK was saying Zepeda's going to easily win. So all the pressure was on Dalton Smith. He's in his hometown. People think that Zepeda's going to walk over him. Zepeda now is looking at possibly retiring. You know, he's been to the top of the game and he can't get back there. So what else has he got to prove?
Yeah, 37-5 now for Zepeda. So, you know, if those 5 losses, you know, they're not at the end of the world. You can still fight on 5 losses. But, you know, a lot of fighters do start to look towards ending their career once they start, you know, stacking up those losses a little bit more.
Because you didn't predict Zepeda to win, did you, Sam? You
No.
just went a stoppage,
Yeah.
a
I
decision
went
win.
points decision, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You went stoppage. Do you know when you go on about, we're talking a lot about predictions today, but I think I predicted the 5th round stoppage as well.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, go back to our last podcast.
You must not have, because you
I
would.
did.
If you did, you would have got more points.
No,
Yeah.
you can't pick the round though.
No, but you get like 5
Yeah, but you only
points
have
for
2 points.
No, I got more than 2 points. I had
Ah.
2 points up until that Sandy Ryan.
I think
fight.
he's just
okay.
lying. to be
I think
honest.
he's just making up as we go along.
Back to
Yeah.
Back to the real boxing.
Dalton Smith.
Yeah.
He's put himself
Who
world
next?
Sando Martin for the
I like that
vacant
fight.
belt.
People are saying Adam Azim. Never going to happen
You
with
drop
the way
him-
boxing.
He's dropping back down to European level, and this is his chance to go for a world title now. So he needs to take it.
Sando
'Cause
Martin.
if he jumps in with Adam Azim, and Adam Azim beats him, then he misses out on our world title shot.
What a call
Yeah.
out as well by Eddie Hearn. I dare you. You know, looking straight
He's
into the
confident
camera.
in him, and I can see why neither fighter wants to take it, because for the loser, that messes you up big time.
Yeah, with that. Sorry,
Why have you gone so small?
Nearly
my
fell off
seat
his
just
chair.
dropped. Yeah, so I think like we said, it was a really good fight night, that one. I think I love a British fight night. There's just
What about, if we're going back, Sandor Martin, 42-3, you know, what about Regis Prograis as well? He needs a comeback fight. Get Dalton Smith over in America.
I'd put him in with Sando Martin.
I think it's
Yeah.
too
For
big a jump.
vacant belt.
Progress, I think.
For the
that.
vacant- okay.
There's gonna be a vacant belt now after.
It's a tough fight, man, Sandor Martin.
Or the winner
It's
of Josh Taylor Jack Cattrall,
No, I think
possibly.
that's stepping down.
Because I think after Haney and Garcia fight each other, I think one of the belts are going to be vacated. So
Yes, I think possibly.
you put him and Sando Martin together, and
Hillsborough?
yeah,
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
place
that's
to do it,
that's
isn't
the
it?
one to do.
It has to happen, don't it?
and then try and get Adam Azim a world title elsewhere, and then bring the two together.
Yeah, that could be the way to go forward with it for sure.
And then you've got a boxer matchroom clash.
It's never going to happen, though, is it?
Maybe
Boxing,
one day.
It has
it'll
to-
never.
it has
There's
to
too
at
many
one point.
politics involved.
I
and
just
all
think
that.
I think it's the wrong time for Adam Azim. To be honest, I can see why they're not taking that fight.
Ben Shalom's growing him to be Sky Sports' next box office fighter. That's what they see him.
Yeah, I've got nothing wrong. I mean, I guess the problem comes that you're never going to get anyone to say it, but they haven't said no. They haven't gone to go no. We're not ready for that fight just yet. They're never going to say that. But that
They've
is
been quiet though.
that's the realistic answer. Is it's
I think both sides are going to be though.
it's not the fight for Adam Azim yet. I don't
It's
think.
not the fight for either of them, I think.
No, probably not. Probably not. And then moving on to some of our audio clips.
Can we just also talk about Friday night? Ashley Lane, fairy tale story, a
yes,
comeback,
of course.
What
massive
performance
cut,
that was as well. to be fair.
unbelievable. These, I know you said you didn't watch them, and I wasn't going to watch it because it's a Queensberry
I seen
York
that one
fight.
fight.
And oh my god, what a comeback! He
And
had
in
a
terms
nasty.
of,
I think he was in the first round. He had the cut as well. So yeah, he came back and wow. And I think there's a massive shout out to his cuts woman. She's the first woman cuts person to win a title or something.
Is it?
Yeah. I did have a name down, but for
We
some reason in
also-
my notes she's not there anymore.
We almost completely forgot. You said a fairy tale fight. What felt like some kind of weird fairy tale event, the Misfits fight.
Oh,
God knows what was going on with that one.
they have fallen off a cliff.
Did you see the venue?
Except
It
for
was tiny.
Joey Knight. saved it.
I stayed up for that because I saw that Joey Knight was first on, and you said that you only watch it for him, so I thought I'll stay up and
They
watch
need
it.
to build around people like him.
He's the next big thing coming. What a knockout. That was probably, out of all the fights, the one that got stopped in round 2, I can't remember who was fighting it because of was it a bomb threat or something?
Yeah, someone called in a bomb threat at the event.
I'm not being funny, but what are they doing? What an idiot.
They need to go back to basics with it.
They have to.
I think the problem for me, and it's
And the main event.
when we first saw sort of influence
another
of
story in the main
boxing
event.
coming up, it was the likes of, KSI Joe Weller, KSI Logan Paul, Jake Paul Deji, all these sorts of things. And they were good fighters. They were all good fighters. And the problem is now, I feel like we're letting people in the ring who just aren't very good.
But
more and more, or
they're
aren't
not
at the level.
YouTubers anymore. They're
not
social media. The only person I knew on that card, 2 people I knew on that card were Taylor Holder and Joey Knight. And maybe Fox to G, but I never heard of Fox to
neither.
G before all this Misfit stuff. But as Ben said, that main event, oh my god, like, what are they doing? Gimmick fights they need to pull out the window.
Yeah, but
now,
it didn't even work because it didn't end up to.
I know, but they need to stop doing it now because
Yeah,
it's boring.
it didn't end up because he Most Wanted didn't. And I think that's the other thing they've said now, that they're going to be more careful with who they put on the big events.
Most Wanted is, I don't want to say he's a nobody, but literally one of us could go into Misfits now. That's what Most Wanted is like. No one knew who he was.
Yeah. Would you?
No.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't go into Misfits.
What do you know?
If they pay him, if there's 7 figures.
7?
7. He thinks he's KSI.
Thinks he's
No,
AJ.
I'm Anison Gibb. 7-figure Gibber is the name.
Mental. I would go in for a figure. Give me a $5. I don't mind.
Really?
I'd do it for free, just for a laugh.
Tag team. We'll do Punches Chance podcast.
Yeah.
Tag team event versus
What's another boxing podcast?
True Geordie and Joey Knight, the True Geordie podcast. No,
You're about the same height as him anyway, Ben.
Me and True Geordie getting together.
absolutely not.
Would you actually get in the boxing ring?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, 100.
I don't know.
I'd
rather talk about it. I'd rather talk the talk and never walk the walk.
You can be the promoter.
Yeah.
I'm a good promoter. I can make
Keep
you
it-
boys a lot of money.
Keep it chill in the studio. But yeah, anyway, as I said, audio clips. All of 3 of our audio clips today are from Boxing News, Shout Boxing News. I have to say that because otherwise it feels bad
They
just
technically
stealing all
should
their
sponsor us
interviews.
now because we're advertising their prediction.
We're doing their
thing.
predictor.
Yeah.
We're nabbing their interviews. But the only thing is, obviously, our podcast is better than theirs, of course.
Yeah, but we're good mates with a certain Andy Clark, aren't we? So
True.
yeah, shout out to him. Got a book coming out as well.
He does. Order it now, Amazon.
We're
Yeah.
just selling everything at this point.
Yeah,
Why
just
not?
selling our souls.
He's giving us it for free anyway, probably. Hopefully,
Nah, I don't think.
fingers crossed. I would love to advertise that.
So our first audio clip is Adiola Depot talking on, I think it was after the Dalton Smith card, about Anthony Joshua and a possible next fight for him coming up.
AJ put out something today on Instagram saying he's got the call. I don't know what that was about, but I was like, what does that mean? You got the call? Like, what call? And the only person I can think of, as you just mentioned there, is Joseph Parker. But I don't know how enticing that is for Anthony Joshua. If you're Ben Davison, do you risk that, knowing that you are pretty much scheduled to fight the winner of Fury Usyk? I don't know if it's worth the risk, but they're paying a lot of money, and the kind of money they're offering, you take the risk because of that kind of money.
So obviously, Adiola Depot there saying that he thinks the only possible fight that AJ could be talking about that he might be having next is Joseph Parker.
Totally agree.
Do you think that's a risk though, knowing you're going to touch the Fury Usyk?
Just get that
winner.
referee they had in the first fight, and there's no risk involved.
I don't know. I just think if you're fighting the winner of Fury Usyk next, I know he wants to keep active, but
He
as
needs
keeping
to stop
active
Gappo,
and fighting
maybe.
like top
That's
4,
that's
top
the fight to
5
make,
heavyweights in the
though.
world.
He's not stepping down. He's staying at the same level against Joseph Parker.
Yeah. He doesn't want to drop off too much, I suppose.
He's one of the top heavyweights in the world, though. It's a risk. I think it is a risk.
Yeah, but it's always going to be a risk in it, no matter who you get in with. A heavyweight, especially.
Less of a risk, though. I don't know. It would be a good fight. Don't get me
after
wrong.
that Ngannou performance,
I
I'm not
would
being
watch
funny,
it.
The,
I don't think
the old
anyone-
AJ's back.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will want to get in with him at the minute.
No, but
This current version of AJ is the best chance he's got
Pre-Klitschko.
a beat in both Fury and...
but imagine if he loses to Joseph Parker,
If he loses to Joseph
and we
Parker,
never get.
we get a trilogy.
But then we just don't get. We don't get the Fury. It's just back to square one. Do you know what I mean?
We're never going to get the Fury AJ fight for years.
It's a tough one.
It's not going to happen quickly.
It happens next year, I think.
Not the way your boys' predictions are going.
It's annoying because
but you don't need the belts for that fight.
For boxing,
that's what I'm saying.
For boxing, it would be better if Fury wins, but I just don't see it happening. We've been over this 100 times. We don't need to keep.
Even if they fight on the 18th anyway, the belts are going to get vacated because.
Well, you're going to have. I think we're going to talk about it. Dubois Hrgovic is going to do the IBF element.
They've basically already set that up, haven't they?
AJ could get a world title shot with Parker, so
yeah, possibly.
You'll end up with the belts everywhere anyway.
Well, while we're on the topic of Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, this is an interesting audio clip I found. I don't know if it was at the same event or what, but it's Stitch Duran talking about that Tyson Fury cut. I think it's interesting because there's been a lot of stuff talked about it, and no one from anyone who actually knows what they're talking about. But who knows more about a cut than the man himself? So just interesting to hear what he had to say about it.
May 18th is fine. Talking about scar tissue. Oh, no. If you have a good surgeon and you close it up real good, there's no such thing as scar tissue there. There's a lot of myths in this game, and that's one of them. The picture that I saw is he's like this. So in reality, what he did is the cut is open. All right. But as you sit in natural position, it's a very thin cut. Though it's deep, it's a very thin cut. And those are the type of cuts that are very controllable. The blood will come down to the side of the eye, so it shouldn't be a problem. But was it right for him to take time off? 100%.
Lovely. So obviously Stitch Duran said that he doesn't think the cut's an issue. He doesn't think May 18th is an issue. A lot of people were saying it seems quite close, but he seemed to think that's a...
Have you seen the videos of him with Charlie Parsons doing the interview? The cut's healed perfectly.
Yeah, it looks absolutely fine.
No
you
worries
could still
at all.
bust it back open, or
You could.
Well, apparently not. Apparently if you get the right surgeon, then
But that's
there
what
shouldn't
Tyson
be...
Fury had, didn't he?
Then it shouldn't be any scar tissue at all, as far as Stitch Duran's concerned. So maybe...
Yeah, but it's the same cut from the Wall-in fight.
Yeah, maybe, but it might not be. It might be in the same
though,
place, but it might not be.
Do that though to him. Has he got enough power to open that cut back?
It was an elbow, wasn't
That's
it?
not the fight.
So,
calls.
like when we...
If it's not going your way, you start throwing some...
Yeah, true.
KSI's elbow.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke to a boxer recently. I'm not going to say who because that's episode's
Can we
coming
give a
out
hint?
soon.
If people are listening now,
they've had a
give 'em a
cut.
hint.
They've had a cut recently.
Yeah.
And they were talking about bone
More
on
than a
bone.
bloody cut.
They were talking about how bone on bone is more, damaging. So I think that Fury one, like they say, it was a freak accident. It wasn't something you expect to get.
No.
And
he's sparring now with the likes of Kevin Lorena.
Yeah, from
So he's
who fought on
fighting
the undercard. Yeah,
He's fighting heavyweight / cruiserweight fighters now. So yeah, he's back in camp, and yeah, he's hopefully looking to get back into. He never looked like he went out of shape, Fury, but yeah, May 18th.
He's slimmed right down, though.
yeah, it's
He
proper.
has to though.
Proper.
Does he, though?
I think so.
Most people were saying his best bet was using the weight.
The last time he came in heavy, look what happened.
It's getting the balance, isn't it? That's the difficult thing. Is getting the balance.
And Wallin.
And
heavy.
Fury's guessing at what weight he thinks Usyk's going to come in at. Does Usyk put on a little bit of weight for the fight? Does Usyk stay slim? And Usyk's guessing whether or not Fury's going to come in heavy or come in light. Like, there's a lot of
I think
if, buts and maybes, which is interesting. It makes it a good fight. It makes it a bit of a mental
Usyk
warfare.
comes in the heaviest he's been at heavyweight. So
I think probably, but not by much, I don't think.
I don't think by much, but you look at the other week, Joe Joyce made his return, and what was he, like 20 stone?
Yeah.
That didn't help him, did it? He couldn't get Cash Ali out of there quickly, so yeah, I think... Listen, May 18th is going to be one hell of a fight, and...
Let's just hope we get it.
We need it now.
Yeah.
And it's a good part as well that the undercard fighters... I listened to an interview, Frank Warren said that Joe Cordina, and another Welsh guy is going to be over there for us, so that's really good. So, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good fight card, and there's not many heavyweights on that card yet.
True. Is that possibly looking forward to the 5v5, which we'll get on in just a second after our next audio clip. A fight I really want to see, a fight that we've been talking about seeing, a fight that's been bubbling away for a while, that hasn't yet happened, may never happen. Josh Warrington versus Lee Wood. Obviously, the card being in Yorkshire, Josh Warrington was there talking about that fight and whether or not he thinks that one's going to be able to happen.
Josh, yourself, what's the latest? Lee Wood, will we see? Will we not?
I don't know. Listen, I'm looking over options now. It's like I can't hang about. I've been hanging about since October. It's been spoke about the City Ground. We knew that wasn't going to happen since January. why the f*** are we messing about? I'm stepping up, so I'm stepping up to super feather now, so I can go along the option of getting towards the title that way. I'd love to fight with Wood if he really wanted it, but it's taking its time now, isn't it? It's taking its time, Andy.
So Josh Warrington there saying that it's been a long time coming, it's been a long time working, it seems like it's no closer to happening. Do we wait around for a fight like that? Is that the kind of fight that you wait for it to happen, or do both Warrington and Lee Wood need to start looking elsewhere? I mean, Josh Warrington said he's looking at jumping up in weight to super feather, so maybe there's some other fights for him at that weight category. But
I think if Nottingham Forest played ball and said to Lee Wood and Eddie Hearn, yes, you can come here this summer, the fight would be made July time this year. But I think Ben just said off air there that apparently Ray Ford's pulled out of the 5v5, so potentially one of them could go over to Saudi Arabia.
They both with Matchroom, aren't they?
Lee Wood's a free agent. He's worked a lot with Matchroom, but he isn't.
But he can
Matchroom.
come in though. So Galashake's new rules, he can
bring
Josh
in
someone
Warrington
on a
is
transfer.
Matchroom, won't he?
Yeah.
You put Josh Warrington
Yeah.
and Nick
Yes,
Ball
yes.
in together, I would.
Yeah, it would be it'd be some scrap that Josh Warrington, Nick Ball. They would both go for it.
Liverpool against Leeds.
He's not going to want to wait around for too much longer, as he hasn't got many fights.
How old's Josh Warrington now? Late 30s?
Yeah, no, early 30s. Early 30s.
Okay.
So
He's got a
little
decent
bit.
amount of time left, ain't he?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's got ages left.
He can't be hanging about until next summer waiting for a fight, can he?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. He's because he obviously came off the loss with Lee Wood, which was like October. I mean, before we started the podcast, October last year.
I think that might have been like one of our first episodes we were talking about.
No, it wasn't. It was basically the reason we're doing this podcast, because me and you were talking about it. Me and you were talking about boxing down in the lobby.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, Leeds fan Josh Warrington, and you're like, he's finally Wood this weekend.
And then Ben tweeted about it, and then I approached Ben and said,
Yeah.
"Fancy doing a boxing podcast?" And look at us now, boys.
So that is the reason we're here. It's because of Josh Warrington.
Because of Harry Tovey. What?
Because of Josh Warrington.
Yeah, because of
Yeah,
Josh
because
Warrington.
of Josh
Sorry.
Warrington. Interesting fight, but something needs to happen, or we can't just wait around forever.
If it was at the stadium, it would be happening July, but now it's not. Well, when does the football season start, actually? Because it can't happen in July. So it probably can't happen in July, June time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult one to do, that one, and unfortunately,
There's so
particularly
many.
with Forest unsure with Premier League, they've got bigger things to be worrying
There's
about.
so many stadium fights on the horizon, though, for British boxing. Lauren Price, Cardiff City Stadium, Nathan Heaney, Stoke City Football Stadium, Bet365, Dalton Smith, Hillsborough, Lee Wood, Nottingham.
Bill
a story.
Smith, Bournemouth, Richard Riakporhe, Selhurst Park,
Ben
Joshua
Smith's already
Boatsy,
done.
Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I like it. It's good.
There's so many, and yeah, why?
Eddie Hearn's got an issue as well now, and he obviously with Ray Ford out of, and he picked
Yeah,
featherweight.
so we'll talk about. We'll run through that real quick before we jump into that fully. So the weight classes have been announced for the Matchroom versus Queensberry show. Frank Warren selected heavyweight and middleweight. Eddie Hearn selected featherweight and light heavyweight, and Turk Alashake, surprise, surprise, selected heavyweight.
I thought they could only have one weight per.
Nah.
That was the weird thing about it.
It was a little bit weird. So we're getting 2 heavyweight fights. We're getting a featherweight fight from Matchroom's point of view, or that's the one they've picked. But it's not looking like it's going to be Ray Ford, which we all presumed it'd be Ray Ford, Nick Ball.
It could still happen, man. It's just rumours, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's not officially announced. He's come out.
I think
and said,
he has come out and said he doesn't want to fight on it.
But that's against what Turk Alashake said anyway.
Yeah,
he
it
wants
could
everyone
be-
to keep the secrets.
It could be a red herring. I think he could be throwing you
possibly.
off. But it would be some fight, Ray Ford, Nick Ball. Like we said, though, Josh Warrington, Nick Ball. Still would be some fight. I think it would continue towards the trend of what we're saying, which is that I think Queensberry are looking strongest going into this.
That light heavyweight fight, though, I think if it's happening, if it's Amo Williams, Hamza Shiraz, that is a very high quality fight.
Shiraz is middleweight, isn't he? I thought.
But apparently the rumoured lineup is what I'm
No,
looking
because
at.
Craig Richards is light heavyweight. Craig Richards and Willie Hutchinson's the light heavyweight
Shiraz
class.
So it's
would be the
middleweight.
middleweight.
What am I talking about?
Yeah, so Shiraz was the middleweight chosen by Frank Warren, and I think we could have seen that
It's
coming.
traditional though, ain't it? He's a traditional Hall of Famer promoter,
Yeah,
so he's obviously going to go middleweight.
The way he spoke about the way that Frank Warren spoke about Shiraz after the Liam Williams fight, I had a feeling he was going to pick middleweight and pick him. Put him on the biggest stage, get him a world title very soon. Ammo Williams as the rumoured opponent.
I don't know if you boys have watched him, but he's very good.
He's a good fighter. Back-to-back Williams for Shiraz. Liam Williams, Ammo Williams.
Well done, Sherlock.
I don't know if that's going to mean anything. If it finishes the same way as the Williams fight,
and then he has to
last
fight
time,
someone else, and he'll have the rematch.
and it would be difficult. But let's talk about. So we've spoken. Obviously, you mentioned Craig Richards versus Willie Hutchinson. That's probably Matchroom's best opportunity. What we'd imagine so far.
If they can't get Joshua Boazzi.
I don't think that's going to happen.
They just stick AJ in as an heavyweight.
They do AJ Dubois for the IBF. Maybe.
AJ Dubois or
go on,
AJ Zhang.
Go and win us a point.
I don't think.
Well, presumably the rumours are that they're bringing in Deontay Wilder as their heavyweight because they don't have the strongest heavyweight.
There's no way Eddie Hearn is bringing Deontay Wilder in the way he talked about him before that Joseph Parker fight. He's not that desperate, let's be honest.
I wouldn't have thought so.
But with 2 heavyweights, who does he put in?
That's Turki Al-Sheikh's fight, I think.
Yeah,
Zhang and Wilder. He loves Wilder.
Yeah, I think as well. Interestingly, and I don't know if I'm not saying this is some kind of conspiracy or anything, but Boxing Kingdom posted their predictions for the event.
I think that's the one.
And the one that people said was the leaked one was exactly the same as their predictions. So I don't know if somebody's put in someone's leg and just said they've just read that and gone, these are the rumoured ones, when they're not actually any there's no truth in any of them.
They're doing a press conference within the next couple of weeks and they announcing the fighters, so
yeah, I mean it'll be interesting, but like I said,
the unmasking.
I
hope
think
they all come up, all cover their faces, and they just have to Turki Al-Sheikh comes out and just pulls their.
They just need to do a walkout. They do, wouldn't they?
Oh, a big walkout, yeah.
Just see what their reactions are like Eddie Hearn's reaction when
like
he sees the
WWE.
heavyweights.
Oh my God,
it's the Undertaker.
I think Queensberry are looking concerningly good going into it. Though 2 heavyweights, Zhang and Dubois.
When this was first announced, I thought Matchroom would have had the better stable of fighters, but
when you dive deeper into it,
looking now, if you're looking off them fights, Queensberry are probably looking.
I think that what's happened is obviously Turki Al-Sheikh picking a heavyweight. We said this before, that Queensberry have got really strong heavyweight power, whereas
Joyce,
other than
Zhang, Dubois, Atoma,
there's a lot as well. There's a lot of really strong fighters there, and you just wouldn't. Matchroom don't have the depth or quality in that weight class, and I think that's why it's difficult. And then obviously if Ray Ford doesn't fight, that was probably their big name in terms of featherweight, or the best fighter in terms of featherweight they've got.
Probably not being disrespectful to Nick Ball, but probably their biggest chance of winning.
Which is mental to say that against Nick Ball is your biggest. I just think
probably the best time to get him as well.
Maybe Eddie Hearn has played less of the tactics. I think maybe Frank Warren's gone more so.
I think Eddie Hearn's completely messed up your mind.
But maybe he's just thinking about he wants certain fighters on the big stage and maybe making it less of a competition. We don't know. It's an interesting one. It's a difficult one to call.
What was the word that they said?
I've got no idea.
I can't remember. There was a
5v5.
Frank Warren said the word.
It means
pride.
Raw.
It's pride, ain't it?
It is pride, yeah.
There's no way Eddie Hearn would pick his fighters and think, I don't care if we lose.
Yeah,
definitely
it would be risky.
He wants to win so bad. And then Frank Warren's saying that there's a bet of
There's also been no mention of any female fights, which is interesting.
Have we seen a female fight in Saudi Arabia in recent times?
I think we looked at this. I think there's been one on an undercard, maybe of the AJ Ruiz or something. I think there was one.
But the way the women boxing's going, they're going to be the next.
So they're also on about doing a similar show in Wembley in September, aren't they?
Yeah, which would be interesting. It'd be a good one.
Who's Queensberry got though for female fighters? Really,
Raven Chapman.
Yeah,
they haven't got a huge amount of female fighters.
Matchroom. If they did that, Matchroom would.
It'd be Raven Chapman and Sky Nicholson will be the fight to make, wouldn't it?
But then Nicholson wants Serrano.
Nicholson wants
that's
Elizabeth
all
Ashoba.
she's talking about now. I think maybe Elizabeth Ashoba might want Nicholson, but Sky Nicholson's just non-stop going, I want Serrano, I want Serrano, I want Serrano.
She needs to stop dyeing her hair, I think, Serrano.
Maybe, yeah. No, that was... Queensberry don't have so many female fighters, unfortunately, because I remember when we looked way back when we did the episode with Jared and we were pitching them, I was desperate to try and make a good women's fight, and there just wasn't... I just couldn't find the right matchup.
It wouldn't even be 50-50, would it? Maybe that's something the Frank Warren and his team need to work on, is
They do.
investing into it, because it's getting bigger and bigger now, women's boxing. It's great to see. You look
Yeah.
at Jessica McCaskill, Lauren Price. Wow.
Yeah, big fight.
That's
And I mean,
a big fight.
Taylor Cameron was a huge fight.
Looking ahead, yeah.
I think as well.
Tasha Jonas, Mikhail Mayer.
Yeah,
another.
big.
That's in my top 5 so far this year of fights.
Really?
100%.
I didn't think the fight itself was that good.
I
I,
thought it was
think it was
good.
just a big event.
I
think
like active fights, so if it's non-stop, I
The
like
2-minute rounds really help the
Yeah.
women's boxing.
Yeah, I think. Well,
Because that's what Andy Clark said to me in an interview. He said, if you're just complaining about women's rounds being that you want it to be more, you want it to be more than 2 minutes, then just for a knockout, have a good look at yourself. Because I think 2-minute rounds suits them well, because they only have 2 minutes. And then they have a minute to recover, and then they got another 2 minutes. You have to keep working hard. You don't have, right, I'm going to warm up for a minute, and then I've got 2 minutes to put it on her. You haven't got that. You have to go from the first bell to the last bell.
yeah, I
and
think.
it's non-stop, and it's great.
Of course, there's fighters out there that it suits. And both Serrano and Nicholson are two that come to mind where I think you could make that a 12 3-minute round fight, because they're both quite patient fighters. They like to build into fights. But for women's boxing, in terms of growing women's boxing, putting it, getting exciting fights so that people tune in. I'm not saying that, a lot of people, ourselves included, would love to, we love watching women's fights. I don't go, oh, that's a women's fight, I won't watch that. I just think, oh, that's a big fight. But a lot of people will think like that. A lot of people will think, oh, I don't really care about the women's fights.
They don't know boxing. When
So-
people say that, they don't know boxing.
So what you need to do is you need to have those 10 2-minute rounds, because all it takes is for them to watch it, because it's before another fight, and it be a brilliant fight like they nearly always are, and then then people start to turn and start to get hooked, and start to these women boxers get to build a bigger name for themselves, which is always it's good. It seems removing the choice of the 12 3-minute rounds is the difficulty, is what people maybe disagree with.
Can I see it changing? No.
I think we'll see it what it is pretty much at the moment for a long while, where
I like it.
if certain fighters can want to agree to 12 3-minute rounds, like Serrano, they can and they will, but I don't think we'll see it as a common. I don't think many fighters
I don't think
will.
the British Boxing Board of Control would like it.
Do you think it'd be a possibility, because people enjoy the 2-minute rounds so much for the women's fights, do you reckon you'd ever see it with the men's?
It would be
2-minute rounds.
I was going to say maybe for the British fights,
Earlier
but
on in their
you
career,
don't need it for the British fights because they're so exciting anyway. I just don't think you'd get many men wanting to do that, knowing that if they went to the top of the game, they'd have to do the 12 3-minute championship rounds. It's a big jump up. It's a big difference.
Maybe in the amateurs, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a conversation for you can do an entire podcast over it, can't you?
Yeah.
But I'm for 10 2-minute rounds, maybe 12 2-minute rounds. Maybe that could be the next
for
step.
championship fights, that's probably the way to go now.
20 2-minute rounds. Just get them all. Yeah, no, I think 12.
Just keep them going until one of them's on the canvas.
Which is what some people want.
That's not boxing though, is it?
Nah, we'll move on. Like you say, that's maybe a one for the future, one that we can get someone on. Maybe then we can talk about that.
Fingers crossed.
The predictions and this next weekend's fights. We're going to do the predictions on the Boxing News app with the Fabio Wardley Frazier Clarke boxer card.
We're doing it now.
No.
Okay.
We'll first of all
Still haven't made my mind up. Still haven't made my mind up.
quick talk on the card in Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena. You got Rolly Romero fighting Isaac Cruz for the World Super Light. I think that's going to be a good fight. And then you got Tim. I can never pronounce this one. Tim Zhu fighting Sebastian Fundora for the World Super Welter.
That's a dangerous fight for him.
Hell of a size difference as well.
Yeah, and I think as well, there's a lot of talk that Zhu is going to be the next opponent for Terence Crawford. So obviously, if he wins that those two belts, then Terence Crawford will be going for more belts because he hasn't got enough at the moment already. He hasn't.
Just takes them all, doesn't he?
He just wants them all. Fair play to him. He's good enough. If you can win the fights, you deserve the belts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've been hesitant. We haven't talked about as many American fights, which is why I just wanted to mention those ones.
We can hardly watch them. That's the case because they put them on Fight TV and put them behind a paywall.
And super late at night, early morning.
Well, Ben's the only one really that out of us three that have stayed up and watched an American
Yeah,
fight.
I watch them in the morning.
Kind of a bit too old now, me.
If they're on DAZN, I'll watch them in the morning. If they're not, I sometimes find a dodgy YouTube stream, but that's just a dodgy YouTube video afterwards.
And whatever spoons you mean.
Who wins those two fights?
Tim Zhu. And do you know something quite
Tim
mad
Zhu
as well?
And Rolly Romero, I think.
Tim Zhu on Saturday, is it? This fight, or is it going to be Bank Holiday
It's
Sunday?
It's Saturday, but it'll be Sunday for us.
Yeah. I think if he wins, he becomes the first ever Australian sports person to earn $10 million from fighting.
Wow. I mean, to be fair, this is the time for Australian fighters at the moment.
George Kambosos Jr., Vasily Lomachenko in Australia as well.
Jai Opataya, Zimzhu, Ebony Bridges.
Sky Nicholson.
There's so many big fighters coming out of Australia at the moment. There's a big sort of
there's a boom in it.
A generation of them. I don't know Australian boxing well enough to say if there's a reason for that, or if it's just
Matchroom this year are going to be going to Australia. I think
they've done a couple of Australian shows, haven't they?
I think they've done a handful.
They did what? I think they might have done one, but
yeah, I mean, I'd
do an all card with the fight, does he?
It would be good. I mean, obviously, it'd be difficult because we couldn't go out for it. It's a long way to go from Britain and America.
Yeah.
But it would be, I'm sure there's an appetite for
flight
it.
to pay from London.
Yeah, my sister's out in Australia at the moment. I could go visit her, stay with her.
Well, there's the
excuse.
Watch it.
Yeah, excuse. I need an excuse to see myself. I wouldn't bother otherwise. But yeah, interesting, and it's nice to see someone like Australia. I get sick sometimes of the English, Mexican, American fighters. Just that's everything. When you see like a German fighter come through, or like a Polish fighter, or Russian. Sorry,
or
Japanese, but the other big one, like
as well, no?
Japanese
Welsh
fighters
fighter.
coming through, Welsh fighters, Australian fighters, South Africans. You've got Kevin Lorena, Sivanati Notinshinga. I've nailed that as well.
That's another great fight.
Yeah,
this year so far as well.
That was another good fight. To be fair, the last minute.
What an arena that was.
Yeah, special. But let's move on to the card. Frazier Clarke, Fabio Wardley, Frazier Clarke.
And it's not on pay-per-view.
It's not.
It's not on pay-per-view. Thank you very much, Ben Shalom, my good friend.
So we're not going to get into that, but maybe not the time to be proclaiming yourself as a huge.
Is that slander I'm hearing, sir?
No, absolutely not. Allegedly.
All right, let's back to the boxing.
Bottom.
Oh, bottom. Are we going straight on the boxing?
Babbage against Steve Robinson.
Alan Babbage versus Steve Robinson.
Yeah, make sure you put it in properly now, because I don't want to lie in about your points next
I
week.
didn't last week, did I?
When I've beaten you again.
Did I lie last week? No.
Yeah.
I don't lie, me. I tell the truth all the time.
So Steve Robinson, obviously Drago is his nickname. Looks a bit like Ivan Drago, to be fair. 6'7".
He needs to be trained by Paul Drago, I reckon.
Oh yeah,
he walks out with him on Sunday.
Link up.
Good shot, Steve. Good shot. Unbelievable, Steve. For anyone who's not been to see,
they're thinking there's a fourth person in this studio, no?
That's my inner northerner.
He could win a fight on his own. He could.
Yeah. There could be no one in the ring, and he could convince the ref that his fight is won. Steve Robinson. Steve 6'2", 6'7", big guy.
Coming off a loss.
Though the guy who played Ivan Drago, I can't remember his name, in the original Rocky films, they had him down as like 6'6", 6'7". The guy's like 6'1". He's like my height. Like when you see him in that film, you think he's huge. You think he's this huge guy. He's not even that tall.
That's what the cameras do.
Yeah,
that's what the cameras do with me and Ben. They make us huge.
Really? I thought they made you look small.
This guy, honestly. No, both men are coming in off a loss, mine. So it's a must-win fight for both of them if they want to carry on.
Babbage took it. Really affected him, that defeat.
Yeah.
As well,
it's the way it happened as well. He got stopped, didn't he?
First round stoppage.
For that one, my prediction for that one, I've gone for an Alan Babbage KO. I think Babbage is going to win.
Oh, Kahari Corbin.
And if Babbage is going to win, I think it's going to be by knockout. He's got like a 90-something% knockout rate.
Yeah, it doesn't go 10 rounds, does it? I don't think. Do all of these fights go the distance? Maybe.
I think I've got 2 of them going the distance.
Yeah, okay.
I've got 2 going the distance.
Yeah, I can
agree
with
5.
you on that. Right. Let's make our way back.
What are you going for, Ben?
I've got the same.
Babbage
KO.
Boring.
Vidal, Riley, Michael. Wow, this is a good fight. And this is one of the ones I've got going the distance. 10 rounds at cruiserweight. I've gone for a Vidal Riley decision.
I've got the same as well.
I think this is going to be another one of those boxer cards where we all agree. That was what we had on the last one. I think the main event will be the splitter.
That's going to be the...
Vidal's obviously he's a brilliant fighter, and he's had some stoppages in his career, but I don't think he has shown enough in his early career of getting really impressive knockouts. That I think he's a brilliant fighter. but I think it will be a decision win for him.
Lowell's a tough fighter as well.
A really good fighter.
He'd do a good job to get him
Coming
out
off
of
a
there.
loss to
Isaac Chamberlain.
Isaac Chamberlain from
Yeah,
the British. So he's making a step down, but yeah, for the
Lowell.
English title this year.
Who-
I can see Vidal
Riley's
Riley.
got the English. So Vidal's got the English.
So then the
British
winner of
title
this
will be
then
next.
fights Isaac Chamberlain next.
Well, I don't think you give Lowell the rematch necessarily against Chamberlain.
Lowell ain't gonna win this.
So I think Vidal Riley, if he's able to beat, then the obvious thing is to give him Isaac
the
Chamberlain.
thing
next.
with this fight is it going to
Or
be a
Chev
stoppage?
Yeah, true.
Chev Clarke is the.
What, Vidal Riley, Chev Clarke?
I think Chev Clarke.
I think Chev Clarke's the top dog in our division.
Whoever
in terms of
fights
Still haven't
Isaac
made my prediction,
Chamberlain.
I'm just looking at the KO and points.
I think whoever fights Isaac Chamberlain first out of Vidal and Chev Clarke, then the other person is the title defense for that person.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think Vidal Riley stops Lowell late.
Gone for a stoppage.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Got to
fair
be
enough.
different, you know.
Yeah, I respect it. I
It's not
respect
be
it.
boring like Ben.
I've got time for someone who's putting their neck on the line.
Appreciate that, Sam.
That's-
I remember that. Looking
Yeah.
out for me. Cheers, mate. Take note.
Ben Whittaker, Leon Willings. Are we expecting another?
I can't wait to watch him again.
I've gone for another Whittaker knockout, another masterclass. I wish there was a way I
Willings
could.
point decision.
There should be a predictor where you can predict how many times
wait.
he gets told off by the
All my
ref as
predictions
well.
are gone.
It's only 8 rounds, is it?
Yeah, it might happen to me as well when I go off it. When I was doing it earlier on the bus.
I didn't change them before you say.
Oh,
All my fights so far are stoppage. Yeah, and Whittaker's going to stop him.
So
Does he stop him early though and make another good statement, or does he,
I
dance around him again and make
I
him look
had
like
that
an idiot?
exact thought, and I just don't think he's gonna be like he's
8
there for the
rounds
social
again,
media
though.
views, isn't he? Like no, I mean that in no disrespect whatsoever. I think he's a brilliant fighter, but the best thing he can do is get some more highlight reels to go on YouTube and Instagram and get people talking about him more and more. I think that's what he'll do.
Be English or British title next.
Right,
don't
let's do another prediction just for a little fun. How many times is Whittaker going to get told off by the ref in this fight?
they? 3.
That's what I was going to say. I'll go 3 as well. What are you saying? Higher or lower?
Be different.
He's bullying me, yeah, Ben. He's bullying in the workplace.
He's telling you to.
I honestly don't know if he's actually going to play around, because
will-
he now knows what's on the horizon of what's next for him. A title.
Yeah, but I said this. If you watch,
This Leon
if you watch
Willins,
his,
he ain't a
not
mug.
a bad
He's
central
a central
area
area title. He
title
fought
holder.
over a month ago though.
yeah, but
So
for me, Ben Whittaker I watched him in the Olympics. He's doing the same in the quarterfinals, semi-finals. I think we'll see the same out of Ben Whittaker. I think
he'll be
4
the same.
times the referee goes to him. Listen, you're a professional.
you've gone 4. Mental.
You said Ben said it'd be different, so I'm
That
being
is
different.
4 is a different number to 3. You're not wrong. That we can say for certainty. Florian Marcoux, Chris Congo.
He's good, ain't he, today?
Uh,
This is the one that
this
we're
might
all
be a
going to be
split
different.
then.
These
surely.
next 2 are going to be the difficult
I still
ones.
haven't made my mind
There's
up.
no way this is the co-main event.
I'm going to let you boys say on this one first because I don't want you to steal my maybe you're copying me so far.
I'm going to go through my notes quickly. And
Ben's
see
gone
what
for the
I'm
logic
right.
if he can't lose if he just says the same as me.
So Chris
No.
Congo's coming off a loss
I'm
to
the-
Echo
I'm
Essuman.
the champ.
Yeah.
So, and he was quite close that fight.
Yeah, and Florian Marcoux 13-0.
I don't rate Florian Marcoux. He drew with some journeyman, Jamie Stewart. I don't rate him.
He did. He beat Chris Jenkins, who's
He
a
beat Ryan
tiny
Charlton
Welsh
as well, which
fighter.
is a good fight.
Swansea boy.
I honestly don't know. There's a bit of bad blood, and this is what the fight card's all about, ain't it? Between them two as well. So
Who made your decision? Or
I think Congo. Oh, all the predictions are gone again. Congo. Oh, does it go? Can it go the distance? Have you got it going the distance?
I'm not telling you.
I'll go first. I go Marco points decision.
Wow. Harry.
Congo. It's playing out in my head at the moment, and they're both going hell for leather.
The fight's going to be over by the time he makes his decision.
Yeah, Congo. I see Congo winning. Why can't they just put who's going to win, Marcoux or Congo? Why do they have to put points decisions for extra bloody points? That's the
That's what
annoying
makes it
bit,
fun.
because that's how Ben picks up his points. He gets
Not
it
by
exact.
being right.
Shut up.
The whole point of the
What have
game.
you gone for, Harry? I didn't
So
hear you.
I did say it.
He's just trying to dance around it.
Congo points decision.
So have I.
Oh, that's
I mean, to be fair, Florian.
Oh, he's already won this week then.
Florian
For God's sake, man.
Florian
He's already
Marcoux
won.
comes off the back of
a
first round stoppage last time out. He's scary.
Do you actually rate him, Florian Marcoux?
This
think
is
he's
an acid
decent.
test for the both of them, I think. The winner, this is...
It's like the main event. It's a 50-50.
Yeah.
And talking about the main event, this main event, it's
I-
not just Frazier
this
Clarke's
isn't what I'm
future
stuck
on the line, it's the amateur boxing scene's future on the line as well, because Fabio Wardley isn't a traditional boxer. He's a white-collar boxer, no amateur experience, whereas Frazier Clarke has had all of the experience. He's been to the back ends of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Russia, maybe for too long.
3
some people.
Olympic trials.
Yeah. Cycles.
I
I'll help you out. You know, he's a 2020 bronze medalist at the Tokyo Olympic Games, a gold medalist at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in your favourite place in the world, Sam, Australia. And he also won the silver medal at the 2017 European Championships as well. And the argument that I've got for Frazier Clarke in this fight is that not his last fight against Dave Allen, because he didn't look good at all, but it was because Dave Allen didn't come to fight. That fight against Mariusz Wach at the York Hall back in the summer, he had 10 vital rounds there where he just had experience. He just gained a load of experience, and that's what he needed in that fight. But you look at the resume of Fabio Wardley, who he's fought, Eric Madlin and Nathan Gorman, David Adelaide. You know, he's been there, he's done it, and yeah, I think it's a little bit too soon for the GB Olympian.
So you've gone for...
So I'm going to go... I think Wardley stops him.
Wardley KO. What have you gone for, Ben?
God's sake, the predictions are gone
I've
again.
gone the opposite way, because I think if Clarke, with the amateur background, if he stays composed and is really disciplined with the way he fights, he should be able to, in terms of a boxing match, should just have the better of him. So I've gone for...
He's more the traditional...
Frazier Clarke points decision.
He's the more traditional fighter, ain't he, Frazier Clarke? He knows what to do in the ring, but...
If he can withstand Wardley his early pressure, and not get dragged into a dog fight, just use the jab and just pick off rounds. I'm not saying he's going to dominate, but just pick off rounds. I think he'll win on points.
Yeah, see, my first thought was, how does this fight end? And I reckon I don't think it's going to go the distance. I think you're talking to two guys, 95 and 80% odd knockout rates. I think it's going to be a finish, and I have 2 reasons why I've gone for my winner. The first of all is his nickname. Can you guess which one I've gone for off that one?
Tell us the nickname.
Frazier the Eraser Clarke.
Oh wow,
it's
you
so
two have gone
good.
against me.
Frazier the Eraser Clarke, and Fabio Wardley's an Ipswich fan. For the championship title race, I can't back Ipswich, so I'm going to have to go for Frazier Clarke. I do genuinely think he's going to win as well. That's my preface. I don't want you to, when I get it right, to go, oh, but you only did it because you dislike Ipswich. I do believe Frazier Clarke's going to win.
It's a 50-50 fight, and you're completely okay to say Frazier Clarke, because it could be a draw.
It could be a draw.
I think the last 2 fights that we talked about, Marcoux Congo could easily be a draw. You could predict.
It's going to be close. I don't see this one going the distance, which is why I don't think it's going to be a draw.
I don't think Clarke's got the experience to go into the championship rounds. Is it a 12-rounder? It's a 12-rounder.
Yeah.
So maybe the game plan for Wardley could be taken deep into the water.
I think to suggest someone who's had 95 amateur fights, albeit Olympic fights aren't long.
Yeah.
But to have 95 amateur fights, you're fit. You're a
Can
fit
we
guy.
agree that he should have turned pro quite a bit more earlier in his days? 31, I think he was when he turned over.
Maybe. I think it was 30 when he turned over. It's late. It is late, but boxing's boxing at the end of the day. And yes, he wasn't doing pro ranks. Yes, he wasn't getting paid as a pro. He wasn't doing those sorts of things. But
Frazier Clarke, I know is different, but he has been around the big events because he used to be a security guard at them.
True. I just
been under those lights.
It's make or break for him, I think.
Big time. I'm looking forward to next week when we see the predictions of this, because I think it's gonna be tight. I'm really looking forward to this event.
I think it's the sort of fight night where I can go, yeah, fair enough, all done, boys. You picked it, but yeah.
What's the bet 365 saying? Mine's 69 to 1.
Mine's 52 to 1.
Oh.
What do I do for how many rounds? How many have you boys gone for?
43. I went for.
I've gone for 39, I think. I did the maths in my head, and it got to 39 of when I think it's going to finish.
So my odds, people are thinking I've gone 23-1.
Oh, you've gone safe.
I've gone safe. I don't
Gone
feel, yeah, but I
safe.
don't feel like I've gone safe really.
Safe. So safe.
The
So
odds-
Do you know
boring.
the one
Odds are
fight that's going to
suggesting
mess
they're
it all up? It's going to be that opening fight with Steve Robinson and Alan Babbage, because
Could be.
that's the same as the main event. You can make a story for both men.
Yeah.
But what a night, and thank God it's not on pay-per-view, and thank God we don't have to spend 20 quid, 14 quid, however much it
Yeah.
would have been to
Yeah,
watch
it'll be
it.
good. It's an exciting one. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for today. We've gone through a lot. Like I said, we sort of teased it earlier. We've got a big podcast coming soon, hopefully next
Huge.
week, with a really brilliant guest. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. If you haven't already, check out our Twitter, all the fight previews, all the updates. We'll be updating for the weekend's fights on there. Spotify is all of our full episodes. On YouTube, we've got all sorts, interviews, Johnny Nelson, Lee Selby, Enzo Macronelli, all sorts on there. Check it out. And other than that, we'll see you all next week in our extra episode.